Challenges in working with data analytics and real-world analytics. Abstract. Globalization sticks at nothing around the world that have accessibility to comparable resources, featuring materials, parts, products, and also even individuals. As services also utilize identical innovations, competitors are resulting in business methods to assemble towards similar standards. This is leaving the high quality of a company's decision producing as its main method for outperforming its competitors. Digitisation, meanwhile, is steering down prices as well as triggering commoditisation. Intangibles permit a company to set apart coming from its rivals. They are the principal chauffeurs of the value that a company can easily generate. The top quality of its selection creating allows a company to conform faster than its competitors to the opportunities and threats provided due to the digital growth older and the developments in its markets. This paper provides the entire information about challenges in working with data analytics and real-world analytics. Keywords: data mining, data analytics, real-world analytics. Introduction. It is also the crucial unobservable that opens the perspective to establish various other intangibles within a company, such as its cost-effective position, its trademark name's track record, the quality of its individuals, its mental financing in addition to specifically how effectively it implements its personal choices. Data mining acquires its tag coming from the similarities in between seeking essential service pertinent information in a big data financial institution as an example, situating connected things in gigabytes of shop scanner data as well as mining a mountain for a vein of beneficial native mineral. Each operation asks for either filtering using a wonderful intensity of product, or even carefully penetrating it to find exclusively where the marketplace is worth lives. Data mining automates the technique of locating anticipating facts in big data banking companies. Questions that commonly called for substantial palms on evaluation can easily currently be addressed straight originating from the data swiftly. A typical case of a foreseeing problem is targeted marketing. Data mining consumption's data on previous advertising and marketing mailings to determine the aim ATS probably to improve ROI in potential mailings. A variety of other anticipating difficulties feature forecasting individual bankruptcy and also a variety of other kinds of default, along with identifying segments of a people most likely to answer additionally to supplied festivities. Data mining resources move through data banks in addition to spot earlier hidden patterns in one activity. An instance of design revelation is the testimonial of retail purchases data to identify relatively unassociated items that are typically acquired with each other. Other design expedition problems consist of discovering illegal Visa or MasterCard acquisitions and also figuring out anomalous data that may exemplify data item keying mistakes. 2. Data analytics. As acquired Fig. 1, these supervisors call for the info examination framework to accumulate facts as well as show the discovering exactly how to the customer. As illustrated by our understanding, the volume of research right UPS and additionally accumulated records that lead to thinking about data mining is frequently more than the variety emphasizing on several administrators. In any case, it doesn't propose that substitute administrators of KDD are meaningless. Different administrators moreover assume the integral parts in the KDD procedure due to the simple fact that they are going to affect the end result of KDD. Figure 1, Knowledge Discovery Process in Databases. Event, option, and pre-processing stay in the input part. Within this procedure, this collected particulars originating from countless information properties need to have to become included in the impartial relevant information. The pre-preparing manager thinks an alternate part in dealing with the particulars which are selected acknowledging, cleaning, as well as filtering system the needless, contradictory, as well as insufficient information to create them the practical particulars. After the selection in addition to pre-handling managers, the fees of the optionally readily available particulars still may reside in numerous varied particulars setups. Within this fashion, the KDD approach needs to have to change them into a particulars mining skilled organization which is done by the renovation manager. The approach is for decreasing the many-sided premium as well as cutting down the details range to develop the relevant details valuable for applicable details assessment element are generally used in the renovation, as an instance, point of view diminishment, examining, coding, or maybe alteration. The information elimination, information cleaning, particulars mix, facts improvement, and also information downtrend administrators may be looked at as the pre-handling operations of details assessment which efforts to them together with the purpose that they may be utilized because of the possessing details inspections. On the off possibility that the details are a copy recreate, lacking, inconsistent, loud, or even oddities, at that point these administrators need to straighten out each of them up. Distinct beneficial pertinent details coming from the rough appropriate information, likewise named the necessary relevant information, and also fine-tune. On the off option that the relevant information is remarkably sophisticated or as well costly, making it impossible to become cared for. These managers are going to furthermore look for to reduce every one of all of them. On the occasion that the primitive particulars have mistaken or even omissions, the parts of these managers are to pinpoint every one of them in addition to developing all of them steady. It could be regular that these managers may determine the inspection impact of KDD, be it good or bad. In overview, the reliable programs are generally to minimize the many-sided high quality of details to market the computation chance of KDD as well as to enrich the preciseness of the assessment result. 3. Real-world analytics. Countless acknowledged providers have developed a reasonable functionality. They have additionally explained a real crystal-clear hyperlink in between supplier performance as well as additionally the beneficial usage data to produce understanding for decision-making. Big data additionally contains organization data that is either got due to businesses units and likewise people or even is gotten in, possibly coming from firms of market evaluation or maybe criteria firms. It grows as yet even more, onto the significant range of new kinds of resource, often rowdy, electronic data that are presently standing by. Financial experts' focus has typically performed financial data, having said that administration accounting experts in leading companies are currently considering various other kinds of data. As an example, providers need to have remedies to permit them to handle intangibles. Control audit professionals utilize featured believing to participate in the dots as well as make connections in between monetary outcome as well as likewise pre-financial actions. These can conveniently then be used as leading signs, commonly based on initial connections, relationships, or links. Managers are beginning to comprehend the capacities of analytics, as well as the system is getting a steady circulation of seeks. They may possess speculation that needs testing or specific presumptions that need to have to become discovered. Typically, a supervisor may merely have a hunch relating to something as well as either wish it validated and even to a whole lot much better recognize its subtleties as well as the scenarios where private desires malfunction. At the start of a job, members of the analytics crew often speak with business-facing loan staff to recognize those factors that could be determined. After that, making use of machine learning formulas, or likely administering an uncomplicated multiple regression examination, they find to discover if there are any type of partnerships between those aspects and additionally, if hence, what they are actually. Through discovering the analytical value of results, they may monitor which aspects are much more firmly correlated with results. As this is certainly not reliable analytics, the staff is mindful not to mention that factor is because of a details aspect, only that it is associated to it. Moreover, they carry out certainly do not propose what need to be executed, they only make use of visualization tools to disclose what has been kept in mind. They are watchful that it ought to be supervisors who after that make sense of a research study and also base options thereupon. Foretelling is a vital result coming from the economic functionality of a company, like acquisitions, rates along added. Instead of using a military of economic experts, the company is considering utilizing predictive analytics for predicting. A most up-to-date example is a venture to forecast regular purchases at store degree, but one more is a venture to determine the variables that figure out facility effectiveness. They utilize historical data to try to find trends, trend recognition, to create what these may be and also simply how they might calculate capability. Given the large quantity of data, they take advantage of machine learning modern technologies to perform this. While doing so, all previous year's opportunity investments data throughout all their buildings, all promotion activities plunged into over this time frame and also various other potentially ideal interior applicable details are blended with external data featuring the temperature and also macroeconomic aspects, including the rising cost of living as well as additionally disposable revenue. All this data is nourished into a man-made neural network and also finding out strategies to recognize the connections in between these variables as well as additionally pinpoint exactly how they possess an impact for sale. The first cut research attained 92 reliability. The group pinpoints that even more fine-tuning is needed for the variation to be authorized. 4 challenges in working with data. Firms such as Google.com, Facebook, Netflix as well as Amazon are improved structures of data exploration. Longer established agencies usually tend to become less capable to harness the power of details. While IT has greatly extended possibilities to collect, store as well as process data, just how to strengthen making use of data to produce educated, fact-based choices need to become seen through the lens of folks, not technology. It requires a deeper understanding of how, via making use of data, an idea is created. Equally as supplying an individual along with a hammer does not make a woodworker, deploying IT devices does certainly not immediately improve selections or even the method of expertise breakthrough. The reality is actually that several organizations are struggling to take advantage of the new option to access brand new sources of data, administer state-of-the-art kinds of study and also make it possible for documentation-located choice making. An amount is also questioning if there is anything to get coming from analytics, along with some research studies showing that one-upmanship from analytics is subsiding. Point 18. The reason? As companies have been considerably determining, analytics is difficult. It asks for sizable initiative and commitment. There is a human dimension. It needs a brand new perspective and also a skill set right across your business, which may be tough to achieve. Nevertheless, those that hang on are finding useful service results. As we have viewed, modern technology has generally been released to produce additional or much better information readily available, even though managers may throw out info, despite just how good it is actually, due to their particular prejudices or improper expectations regarding making use of the relevant information. The truth is actually that rational devices merely boost individual intellectual procedures, they do not decide, and also they don't produce knowledge. This carries out certainly does not suggest that people ought to not hold various perspectives on the very same data. As an example, a digital online marketer and also an accounting professional could find as well as interpret the same dataset in various ways. This is the power that a cross-disciplinary group may carry when looking into data with each other. The procedure through which knowledge emerges is frequently a social one. After all, the data extraction as well as gathering, data cleansing, data assimilation, theory testing and also design structure, the largest continuing to be difficulty commonly lies in connecting the results in a persuading means. While many financial advisors fit along with amounts as well as spreadsheets, other colleagues might be much less so. This implies a reader can typically have a hard time finding fads and styles as well as making sense of any type of analysis. As a result, showing results is usually better attained through stories and also images instead of amounts. The essential need is actually to be capable to take folks on an experience. While visualization tools are coming to be the main to the discussion of results, storytelling is also a necessary component of conveying understanding and helping the viewers to make sense of any type of analysis. Tasks in data mining. Clustering high-dimensional data. Constraint-based clustering. Clustering high-dimensional data. It is a particularly vital job in collection evaluation because many users demand the evaluation of things containing a large number of functions or even dimensions. For example, text message papers may consist of lots of phrases or keywords as features, and DNA many-range data may supply info on the articulation levels of lots of genetics under hundreds of problems. Clustering high-dimensional data is tested due to menstruation of dimensionality. Many dimensions might certainly not matter. Like a lot of dimensions boosts, the data become progressively sporadic to make sure that the span dimension between sets of points ends up being meaningless and the common thickness of aspects anywhere in the data is likely to be below. Consequently, various clustering approach requires to be developed for high-dimensional data. Inner circle and proclus are pairs of prominent subspace clustering strategies, which hunt for bunches in subspaces of the data, as opposed to over the whole data space. Regular pattern-located clustering, yet another clustering methodology, extracts distinct frequent designs, one of the subsets of dimensions that develop frequently. It uses such patterns to team things and generate meaningful clusters. Constraint-based clustering. It is a clustering method that executes clustering by incorporation of user-specified or application-oriented restrictions. A constraint reveals a user's expectation or illustrates properties of the desired clustering results, and also supplies an effective way for interacting with the clustering method. Numerous types of restrictions could be specified, either by a user or even based on application needs. Spatial clustering hires along with the life of challenges and also clustering under individual indicated restraints. On top of that, semi-supervised clustering employs for pairwise constraints to improve the quality of the resulting clustering. Constraint-based cluster evaluation. Constraint-based clustering locates collections that fulfill user-specified tastes constraints. Relying on the attributes of the constraints, constraint-based clustering may take on instead different methods. There are a couple of classifications of restraints. Restrictions on personal things. Our team may specify restraints on the challenge to be clustered. In a real property application, for instance, one may like to spatially flock simply those luxury manors worth over $1,000. This restraint limits the set of challenges that is flocked. It can simply be taken care of through pre-processing, after which the trouble lowers to a case of unconstrained clustering. Restrictions on the option of clustering parameters. A customer may such as to establish a preferred variety for each clustering guideline. Clustering guidelines are often pretty certain of the provided clustering algorithm. Instances of guidelines include K, the desired number of bunches in a K-means formula, or E, the radius and the minimal number of points in the scan algorithm. Although such user-specified parameters may strongly determine the clustering results, they are generally restricted to the formula on their own. Therefore, their all-right adjusting and processing are typically ruled out as a kind of constraint-based clustering. Constraints on distance or even similarity functions. Our team can easily define different spans or similarity functionalities for certain attributes of the challenge be flocked, or different distance methods for certain sets of objects. When clustering athletes, as an example, our company may make use of different weighting schemes for height, physical body weight, growing older, and also skill level. Although this will likely modify the mining leads, it might certainly not change the clustering process per se. Nonetheless, in some cases, such modifications may make the evaluation of the distance function non-trivial, specifically when it is snugly linked along with the clustering process. User-specified restrictions on the homes of individual sets. A customer might like to specify preferred attributes of the resulting bunches, which might strongly influence the clustering process. Semi-supervised clustering based on partial direction. The quality of unsupervised clustering can be considerably enhanced by making use of some weak type of supervision. This might be in the form of pairwise restrictions, i.e., pairs of items classified as belonging to the same or different cluster. Such a constrained clustering method is called semi-supervised clustering. 6. Conclusion. Despite the way that the details assessment at present might be wasteful for gigantic data got from the planet, contraptions, frameworks, units, as well as even concerns that are exceptionally certainly not exactly the like regular mining problems, taking into account the truth that a couple of qualities of huge information also exist in the normal relevant information inspection. A couple of open issues due to the massive relevant information will be usually tended to as the stage/system and also info mining views of this particular fragment to clear what issues our team might face in light of significant relevant information. This paper provided the entire information about challenges in working with data analytics and real-world analytics.